going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Dusty, and as always, this is the Shred Academy. Today, we're going to be doing an updated version of our preload video. What preload is, the fact that there's two types of preload, where these types of preload happen, but now we're going to introduce hardtails. So we're going to show you all about preload on full suspension, hardtails, and talk a little bit more in depth about that, and hopefully give you guys an advantage on your next jump. So without talking anymore, let's get to it. The first thing we're going to have to do is identify body weight preload in both a full suspension bike and our hardtail. No matter what bike you ride, you'll be approaching in a relaxed or somewhat of an attacked position. And if we notice this stick right there, can you see it? It's right there. That is going to be my cue or the edge of the lip. I'm in my relaxed attack position, and then you see my body start to slightly move down. That was your body weight preload. The most important, or the second most important thing about the body weight preload is that you preload straight down into your bottom bracket. That's going to center your weight over that rear suspension, or even more importantly, the bottom bracket. Notice this movement does not bring my knees forward towards the front of the bike, and it doesn't bring my hips backwards towards the back of the bike. Straight down. Straight down. That was it. Now I also want you to notice where I'm looking, and as well my chest position. Notice that my chest isn't flat over the top of my bars, making sure that this part of your chest is sending energy down the trail is very important no matter what you're doing. Now from that position, we go straight into our next preload, which is going to be our suspension, but we're not done talking about body preload yet. We still need to talk about our hardtails. Once again, we're approaching in a relaxed attack position. I could also be a little more in an attack position, but we definitely don't want to be in full steep mode with our head there and our chest here. So as I come through here, we're going to come forward, and there's the body weight preload. That was it right there, that short distance. Now this body weight preload, just going straight down into that bottom bracket, right there. We don't have any suspension here, okay? So even if I had suspension there, we're still preloading straight down into the bottom bracket. Not forward, not backwards, straight down. And again, looking forward, look at the chest, okay? And as well, elbows wide. I don't let my elbows fall towards my body. And then from here, we go directly into suspension preload, which we're going to get to next. But first, let's talk about a few body weight preload do-nots. Do-nots. The most important thing you can know about the body weight preload, and honestly the reason I'm making this video, is so that you're not doing this, forcing the bike down. All right, you can tell I'm coming in here. The suspension is not preloaded, I'm about to force my whole body weight down into the suspension, including my arms into the fork. Now, what I want you to realize is, here we go. Okay. Now I've compressed everything all at once. Imagine I was going up a lip. If this was the edge of the lip and my front wheel was about to go off, all of it is going to rebound at once. So that's if you waited until right at the edge of the lip to even start your body weight preload. But say the lip is here. This is your lip. Not a very big lip. It's honestly only 4 feet tall. And hold on, I'll make it less lippy. Boom. Because, like I say, lippy jumps cannot be great for beginners. If I preloaded everything at the bottom here, watch what happens. I'm still sinking my weight into it. It rebounds up, and then my weight falls back down into it. This is the same thing that's going to happen if you come into a lip like this, relaxed, force the weight down at the bottom of the lip, compressed, compressed. Now, if we can do this slow enough, when you come in and you do a big compression at the bottom, it's very hard to see, but as I compress the bike here, there is a slight rebound right there. If you can see how far away my seat is from the rear tire, we go back a frame. Do you see how far it is from there? Just that little bit right there is starting to send me upwards, when in actuality, I'd really still want to be compressing into the lip, or actually getting ready to compress into the lip. This initial transition is just for you to set your body weight down into. All of the suspension preload or leg preload is going to happen from here on. Any forcing like this and having that initial rebound not only is setting you up for not being able to shift your weight back smoothly and then go through the next steps, but it's also unsettling the suspension, which is the most important part. Your suspension is going to be unsettled to your body going up the lip. So please do not forcefully set into your suspension like that guy. Now that we've talked about body preload, how not to body preload, let's talk about suspension preload. And yes, even if you're riding a hardtail, you've got suspension, we'll talk about it. Now that we've got a close-up clip, yes, we're still using my stick here as our lift-off point. As I draw closer to our mark, we get a body preload now. And then this is the point where my hips are going to shift backwards as I initiate a front wheel lift. And this is the point where we are really engaging our suspension by pushing into the ground or lip with our heels, and we're using our upper body as a counterweight to lean backwards to create more front wheel lift, so at the very edge of the lip, we can explode off of our rear wheel. All of this suspension preload happens in a half bike length's time. Right here. From this point on, we'll get the final part of a jump or a bunny hop, which is the explosion or pop and getting your hips and the rear wheel up in the air like so. Now, the same thing can happen on your hardtail. But where's the suspension? The suspension is in your legs. Right now, imagine you're going up a ramp and you've got to make a gap over to here. So right now, you're going to preload your suspension, which are your legs. Yes, your legs are another form of suspension. Oop, let's get that gap back in there. We'll bring us back. Body weight preload, then into suspension preload as we're engaging our initial front wheel lift. Oh, I did it again. Now, for a half a bike length, I'll be preloading my suspension, which is basically my knees. Let's travel forward here. And then right about there, I start to extend my legs and explode forward right at that half a bike length point. And I would have said we would have made that gap for sure. Even though a hardtail doesn't have suspension for you to engage going up the lip, that actually makes it easier. The suspension just adds another step. Body weight preload, leg preload. All right, everybody, I'm going to give you a few last preload do nots, and you can see that I'm doing some pre-bounces here to try to get into a rhythm to go off the lip. But the reason I urge you not to do this is because that's going to set off your timing from when you're going to actually have to do your body weight preload and then your suspension preload or knee preload from the time that you're going to have to explode or pop off the lip. As well, if there's any undulations in the trail before the jump, you want your suspension to be working, eating up those bumps, not eating up you putting your weight into it needlessly. So just relax and approach the jump and be ready for any sort of bump in the road and deal with it accordingly. My final tip is preloading way early and holding. No need, guys. If you do this, you won't be able to deal with anything in the trail. And as well, think about the preload or jumping as blocking a jump shot. You definitely wouldn't want to be in your athletic stance and then preload into your knees and hold there for 4 or 5 seconds and then jump. You're wasting a whole lot of energy just holding yourself down here rather than being here and riding the rest of this distance until you start your body weight preload at the bottom of the transition where you'll accept the direction change up the ramp. Well, that's going to do it for our video on preload, correctly defined, where it happens, how to use it, whether you're on a full suspension or a hardtail. If you enjoyed the content, please make sure to leave a comment, and always like, share with your friends, and subscribe. We are a small content creation company trying to grow, and we rely heavily on our Patreon support to make it to our monthly financial goals, like needs. So if you'd like to help support the channel, it can be as simple as $5 a month. That's a day. Our goal is 150 Patreons out of the 6,000 plus subscribers we have. That's only 2% of that amount. So if you'd like to join, there's a link below. If you have any super thanks you'd like to send, please make sure that you send them through PayPal and use my friends and family link. YouTube usually takes, not usually, YouTube takes 40% of everything you guys send, and I make through ad revenue. So as well, guys, we have a limited supply of merch, some t-shirts and some hats. Make sure you go pick some of those up for Christmas. Maybe give them to your buddy, get one for yourself. The proceeds of those are going to be solely going to get my pooch for a vet checkup. Those are long overdue. So you'll know where your money is going when you purchase that shirt. Yeah. Otherwise, guys, ride hard, ride safe. Be kind to each other. We're all in this game, community, whatever, together. So let's make it easy on each other and just be kind. If I don't see you until the next video, take it easy, rubber side down. And if you see me on the trails, make sure to say hello. If we can, we'll catch a lap. And if not, we'll just shoot the crap for a minute. See you.